Hello and welcome back to Knitting Lessons, and now we're going to be joining the sleeves to the top and working the neck and shoulders of our jumper. So this is really exciting, but it all starts to really come together. So what you'll need is you will need your two sleeves and you'll need the body of your jumper. So I've got mine currently on these little stoppers because it's still on the circular needle, but I'll show you if you are using regular needles, it should still be on this needle. Okay, so move the 30 sleeve stitches onto the 10mm circular needle. So that's this. So what I'm going to do is, these are my stitches that I've already done. So I'm going to be transferring from this needle over to this needle. So I'll put this needle on where my bear is. You don't have to do all this complicated stuff if you have knitted this, as you should do, with the double pointed needles before. I'm afraid I was a bit lazy and I switched mine up for another circular, a little tiny circular. And if you're still using a circular for this, you won't have to do all of this rubbish that I'm doing. So there we go, I've got my needle on. And I'll put this stopper on just in case my stitches run away. So, move the stitches from the sleeve onto the needle. So that's easy, we just swap it from one needle to the other, like this. Carry on, carry on. And the last one after the armpits there as well, so we can't forget him. Pull him up, stick him on, okay. So I've got all my arm stitches there. On my needle with the body of my jumper, I'm going to pinch the other side of my 10mm needle because I don't need the little arm one anymore. Get rid of all of those. So, it says, place marker for the beginning of the round. So there's a range of markers. You can use a bit of thread, like I've been doing, or you can get all sorts of kind of stitch markers if you want them. So what I'm going to do is, because I want to know where the beginning of my round is, I'm going to use a stitch marker which is a little bit different looking. So I'm going to use probably this orange one, because that'll stick out for me. So I'm going to place my stitch marker on here to mark the beginning of my round. So place my beginning. So the first raglan seam at the right back shoulder. So this is telling us this is going to be our first shoulder seam. And a raglan seam is when it kind of goes up and up and up towards the neck and the arms get thinner and thinner like a triangle. So you'll have seen it, kind of varsity jackets look a bit like it, if you can imagine an American football jacket. Knit the, for me, 43 back stitches. So I just knit, lost my marker, I just knit all the way across. I've already got the yarn here because that was on that last sleeve we did. So let's go. And as you can see already, the armpit there matches up with our armpit hole on the main jumper already, so that's brilliant. Okay, so I'm at my next gap. So I've done my back stitches. So I'm at my gap, I've done my back stitches. So now it says to place a marker. So I'm going to place a plainer marker this time, just a purple ring. And then it says to knit the other 30 sleeve stitches onto the circular needle. So here's my other sleeve. I'm going to knit it on, and I'll show you when I've put it on. I should probably explain because I haven't done, just coming back for a second. But what I'm doing is I'm taking all the stitches from my stitch holder and I'm putting them onto my left hand needle, because then I can knit them across onto the right hand needle. So just in the order that they are on your stitch holder, it might be that bit of thread, it might be a stitch holder like mine. From the stitch that has the yarn end attached to it, because that was your last stitch of your last round, we want that to be put onto the left hand needle first, so then that'll be the last stitch of our sleeve round again. Okay, so I've transferred all my stitches from my stitch holder onto my right hand needle. So it says to just knit across. So place marker, my marker's already fallen off, double check it's there, onto the circular needle, and then knit across the other stitches onto the circular needle and then place another marker. So I'll just do that now. There we go, so that's the other arm stitches all on. Now a trick I learnt for when you move between something that's being cast off is to get the yarn that you're working with, you're knitting with, and then wrap it underneath the tail of the thing that you cast off. And that just helps to kind of secure that join a little bit more. So once we've got that on, we place another marker, so another plain marker for me. And all you'll need to do now is knit across all of the front stitches and place another marker, and then knit across the arm stitches until we get back to our orange marker. And that's just done a whole row. And then you'll need to work 2 rounds of stockinette stitch. So again, that's just our plain stitch, our normal stitch. So do 2 rounds of that stitch, and then join me again and we'll start doing some decreases for our shoulders. So remember, I haven't shown on the video yet, but to knit across the front, place a marker, knit across your arm stitches, back to your very first marker, and then do 2 rows. Good luck!